my screen just so I can show you what I'm doing. So let me get there. All right, so Google Classroom, most people have at least looked at it or have heard about it. Some of you have probably already started using it in your class before this happened. So I'm just going to go through a little bit of a general on how to get there. So there are two different ways to get onto Google Classroom. The first is just going to Google, and then if you're signed in on Chrome, you'll just open the waffle, and then Classroom looks like this. You could also type in classroom.google.com to get there. The other way that might be easier for our younger students or for all of our students in general is to go through Clever. Clever, if you are a secondary teacher, you probably haven't seen a whole lot about that. I will be doing a training later this week over it. It is a way to collect and store all of our online resources, and using this will allow students to go in and automatically get signed in to a lot of the curriculum that we have offered. So in addition to that, it also has Google Classroom found down here. So Google Apps for Education, they will see a link that says Google Classroom. They just have to click on that because to get into Clever, they have to log in with their Google credentials. They'll automatically be logged in. So we'll go ahead and open up Google Classroom. Let it load. There it is. Maybe. Internet always wants to be slow when you want it to be fast. Here it goes. Okay. So if you've never used Google Classroom before, this will be just a blank screen. If you are part of as a student, if your principal uses Google Classroom, you might see that one here. Or if you have your own classes, you'll see them here as well. Starting off, you'll just click that plus button, and you'll be given two different options. Join a class is for our students, and then create a class is for teachers. So joining a class, that's what they're going to be doing to get into the class you create. And then the create a class is what we're doing today. So I'm going to click on that create class. And the one thing you absolutely have to do is you have to put in a class name. It could be your name, it could be period 1, science, anything that you want to label it, just something very simple for the students to see. So I'll just do this as period 2 history. If you have multiple sections of history, you can just put that period 2 here instead. A subject is needed if you're going to be using GoGuardian with Google Classroom. For some reason, in order to get students into GoGuardian, it requires a subject. So I'll just put that in here, and I'll just say this is world history. And then if you travel around, you can put the room in, but you don't really need that to create your class. Once you've filled that all out, you'll click Create, and it'll load. And you can see here, it is now popping up, so it'll load on that page, and then it'll automatically take you into the main part of your class. So it will create a theme for you based off of the subject that you're doing or the title, so it tries to guess. If you want to change that, you can either upload your own photo, or they have quite a few different pictures that you can choose from, covering a lot of different subjects. So they have English and history ones. So if I want to have the world globe instead, I can do that. They have math and science, arts, sports. They have some others, so just some general ones on here, and then they have their gen ed ones too. So once you've selected that, so I'll click on that and then select class theme, it will change that to whatever you choose. And the same with your picture. It'll upload a picture. So sometimes when I did it in the past, I might have a picture I took of on one of my travels, and I might put that up here if I want. So that's the first thing. And then you'll also have your class code. This is what your students will need in order to join it. So when they click on that join class, they then type in this. And I will show you a different way to get your students into this class that will not require them to find a code and that kind of stuff. You can invite them yourself. So I'm going to start off just with the top here. So you have the stream, which is where we're at right now. It's similar to social media. So, just an endless stream of posts and topics and that kind of stuff. Classwork is going to be where all of your assignments are found. People are the students and the co-teachers, and then grades. And then finally, you have some additional settings you can do as well. So I'm just going to show you stream to start off with. So you can choose if you want to allow students to talk or not on your stream. I would give your students some guidelines before you allow that, or at least have a conversation with them. Maybe the first thing at the very top here is, before I open this up, I want you all to read through these, click on a Google form, and say that you agree and understand to the conditions or something like that. But this could be a really positive for a lot of our students who might not be able to communicate with their classmates and might want that. But there's always those students that will, test the limits too, and they will write random things. I've had students that will type in just the letter E like 4 lines in a row just because they can. So you can use it, you don't have to, but it is found here. Once you have actual work assigned, all that upcoming work will be found on the stream right to the side over here. This is just really nice because the students don't have to go immediately over to classwork to see what's due. It'll show up to the left of their screen. So I will move over to classwork. Classwork is going to be where you're essentially going to be living when you're creating your class. This create button will be your best friend. You can create assignments, quizzes, questions, give resources, all that kind of stuff from here. As soon as you created this class too, it also creates a Google Calendar for the class and a class drive folder. So you could also, anytime you post an assignment and you give it a date, it will show up here. And let me see. It's in my chat. Is everyone hearing me okay? I just got a little sign that said my internet's a bit unstable, so I just want to make sure that everyone can still see me, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. So I'm going to go through just each one of these different create features. If you have questions about specific ones, just pop them in those chats and I will look at those afterwards. So they'll click create, and then you have assignment, quiz assignment, question, material, and reuse post. And then my favorite feature that they added about a year ago was the topic. I think that just saves the classwork area from being just a little crazy. This is how you can organize your classwork by subject, by unit, by chapter, by day. I know a lot of teachers have been, for their, if they're doing any kind of home learning, they're organizing it by posting a topic for the day and then the subjects that they're going to be doing, and then just posting all the assignments for the day right there as a way to sort of make sure that they're not having to go from topic to topic. It's all right at the very top, found very easy to do. So I'm going to start with topic. I'm just going to click on that. It's just going to give me a simple box, and I'll type in Wednesday, if I can spell, 25th, and then I'll click add. So now that I have a topic, I can then start posting that stuff. All my topics are going to be found at the left-hand side over here. It's just a way to easily get from one topic to the other. So I'm going to click create, and then the first one I'm going to do is an assignment. So assignments have a little bit, a few more boxes than some of the other ones. So you're required to have a title. So read chapter 1. So you'll have the option of doing all students, some of your students. It depends on how you organize your class. This is really nice for some of our, for differentiation, so you can assign specific assignments only to 3 or 4 of your students or all of your students, or pick and choose. And when the student opens up Google Classroom, they will only see the assignments that are assigned to them. So it's not like they see that, oh, I've been assigned this that might be easier than so-and-so's assignments. They can't see that unless they're looking on each other's computers. So that's just a way to really, help you organize who needs to be reading what. You can also, if you have multiple periods, you can also assign this to multiple classes all at the same time. So if you are in the high school or the junior high and you have 3 periods of math, you can assign the same assignment to all 3 periods at the same time. You're not going to have to go to each classroom and do that same thing. So next you'll have points. You can have up to 100 points. You can also have it ungraded as well. So if it's an assignment, it shows up on their Google Calendar. But sometimes you don't want to actually grade it, so I'll just put this as 10 points. Here's my date. You can put a date and a time. So put that on. And so you can have it, the time is optional, or you can have it in this, having it for March 27th, we'll just have it at 11:59 p.m. will be the last time. It won't be counted as late. So here's my topic. I can put on here, and I want it under Wednesday, March 25th topic. And 2 new features as of this year is the rubric. So if you want to give them a rubric and build it on here so that students can see exactly what you're looking for, you can do that here. And then if you're requiring them to write or post a paper, the originality report is really nice because it allows, it will go through, once they submit their assignment, it will go through the list or the lines of their paper and identify any places that they might have plagiarized. It gives them 3 different chances to fix their paper before it is submitted to you. You as the teacher should be able to see all 3 of the different versions that they submit. It just allows the students to practice and learn when what they're doing and that kind of stuff with it. And then the hope is they're currently beta testing the originality reports where you can create a data bank in the district itself. And then so you can add your previous students' work to that, and then they'll look at that as well. So hopefully by next year we should have that as part of our choices here too, where you can click on that and it will look and see if they're copying off of students. So once you're all ready, oh, I forgot a couple things. So you have the add feature that allows you to add Google Drive documents from your Google Drive from a link, so a website link, a file, or a YouTube video. And then create allows you to create something specifically for this. And so those features are all found here. They are all Google features since that is the product here. So you can add that information here. I'm going to go a little bit more into that in our material section. So once you're all done filling out this, you can either click assign, or you can drop this down and you can assign it, or schedule it, or save it as a draft. If you are working a day before, you can always schedule this so that it won't appear until 5 minutes before class starts. So you're not having students going on there and already complaining about the work that they're going to have to do or that kind of stuff. And it also helps save, so you're not having so many, all your material is showing up all at the same time in the classwork section. So you can click schedule, and I don't want this to show up until the 27th at 8:05, and then I can schedule it. And so it will show up on mine, but it will not show up, so it looks just like this for right now, and then it will show up at 8:05 tomorrow, or Friday, saying, all right, this is when it's due. It'll be allowed for teacher or students to see it up on their page. So just a really nice feature that allows you to get everything done beforehand, but not posting everything for your students to see immediately. So I'm going to go through the next one. So the next one is a quiz assignment. If you have Chromebooks in your class, this is a really, really nice feature because it allows locked mode on Chromebooks. So you can give your students a quiz, and you're not going to worry about them going in and being able to open up another tab and trying to look up the questions in the middle of a quiz. If you have anything else, I don't know if it will allow you to do that or not at the moment. It also will only limit them to, they have to sign in, and then they cannot come back and re-answer the questions. You have to go back in and allow them to do that yourself. So put it in here, quiz over reading assignment. So I'll type it in. So for me, I'm sort of building what my students would be doing in a day. So they're going to read chapter 1. They're going to come in here. They're going to show their understanding of the reading by answering a couple questions. When you do a quiz assignment, it automatically gives you a blank quiz. So you just click on that. It will open up, and then you can start creating that quiz right here. If you have a pre-made quiz already done, you can just upload it instead. So I can go in here, found right here. So I'll go back here. If it's just a bunch of like multiple choice questions, you can have it grade it for you, and then what answers they give will be automatically moved over to your grade book in Google Classroom. So just another really nice tool for us to use. These are all the same as the last ones. So I will come over here. It's going to be a 10-point quiz. This is also going to be due on the 27th. And then I always want to make sure that I'm putting it under the right topic. So Wednesday, March 25th. If you want to put a rubric on there, you can. You can also have it checked for originality. For a paper like this, you don't really need the originality reports, but it is available for you. Once I'm completely done, I'm going to click Assign. And I'm just going to assign this right away. And you can see the difference between assigning it right away and then scheduling it here. So those are the first two. Question is a discussion. So if you are wanting them to answer a specific question that you have, so this is going to be over science. Watch the video and tell me what you thought. So I can upload a YouTube video for them. I want them to watch that, and then I want them to tell me about it. So with this, you now have a different selection down here. So you can allow the students to reply to each other, or you can't. So then they can post their first one and as many comments as they want to that, but they cannot talk to each other. Or you could allow students to edit their answer as well. So they can go through and they come back and they say, oh, I rewatched it again, I want to change my answer. It allows them to do that, or they're just going to have to post another question for why they want that. Here as well, you can also give them a short answer or a multiple choice question. So I want you to watch this 5-minute video over a science topic that we're doing, and then which one of these is the correct answer based off of the question or the video. So I'll add that to my topic, put this as the 27th, and then I'm just going to save this as a draft because I haven't found my video yet, so I'm going to save that. So it's in my topic, and so it says draft, scheduled, and then due. So those are your 3 options for how you want it to look, or as you're gradually adding this kind of information in. So the final one that you'll use quite a bit, and I think I use this one the most, is the material. Often when we try to get our students to open a new document or find a specific website, we'll try to put it up on the board, and then it takes them a while. Having it on Google Classroom is super nice because it allows them to just go straight to Google Classroom, click on the link, it takes them directly there. They're not having to try to type it in or find it themselves. It's all done for them. And tips I've seen for doing anything for online learning is really wanting to make sure that everything is in one simple place. We don't want them to go exploring. I think the the general rule is if you've lost them after 3 clicks, and so you want to make sure that they're at that point within those 3 clicks, or else they've gone off on something different. So I'm just going to put this as e-learning website. Look at the videos found on this website. So I'm going to go to my add feature here, and I want to link something, so I'm going to click a link. So this is for websites. I'm going to go to my page here. I'm going to copy that and then paste it, and then I'm going to add my link. So it will load, and there it's all ready. If it recognizes it as a specific website, it will show a little video or a little picture of the website itself. Sometimes it'll be just blank as well. So I'll go through this. I want all my students to see this. I want it to be on Wednesday, and then I'm going to post it. You cannot put a specific date for this, like a due date or anything like that, like the other ones, but it's still, you can schedule it if you need to as well. So hold on 1 second. It's loading. People is going to be where you're going to see your students, and then where your teachers are going to be. So one of the questions I had was, can you have multiple teachers? Yes, you can. So you should see you right now, and then if you click the plus, it will allow you to invite teachers. So I'm just going to put my coworker. So you can type in their name. I'm just going to put Lucianne, and then I can invite her. I do recommend this. I know a couple of the teachers in China that are using Google Classroom with their students. They invite their principals in there just in case they get sick. It allows them to go in and, continue to work with their students. So you can invite your principals, you can invite your paras, if you want to team up with some of the specialists. If you're elementary, you can invite them to your classroom so they can just post to that classroom instead of creating their own. It's entirely up to you on what you want. Once they've been invited, they will receive an email from you asking you to join their class. They can either go through there, or under their classes, when they open up Google Classroom, they'll see your class, and then right here it'll be sort of a little lightened, and it'll have a join button. So they'll click join, and then they're automatically added to that class. The other thing that you need to do is add your students. So for this circumstance, usually I would have you guys just come in, have that posted up on top of the board the first day of school or that kind of thing, and then give them the class code, and then have them join gradually. But with this circumstance, my suggestion, if you're trying to get students in from home, is to invite your students. Write down a list of your students' names, type them in, and then click that invite. Same as the teachers, they'll get an email from you saying that you've added them to a class, or they can go into under their Google Classroom, and they just click join, and they just have to click that, and then they're good to go. And I will create a video showing how students will do that from this way. Let's see what questions I have. Our students all have access to email as of right now. If they're K-5, it is not opened beyond at walluke.net. So if you try to email a student, they can access it. They just can't email, someone like their parents from their school email until they get up to the junior high. And then junior high, it's open to everyone. It will not allow them to allow us to see if they've been, if the videos have been watched or anything like that, unfortunately. If you want them to do that, then you'll have to create an assignment and have them write something or submit something like, just a document saying done or anything like that to show that they've opened that or used it. Okay. So that is people. One of the things that I'm going to talk about a little bit is the Guardian features you have on this, but I will talk about that in settings. So last but not least, grades. Grades, as of right now, I don't have any students, but once I have students, their names will show up over here, and then the assignments they're given are going to be found at the top. If you're doing quizzes and that kind of stuff, it'll be done automatically. But if you're doing specific assignments like written stuff, you'll have to add them in here. Students can see the grades that you're posting on here if you want them to, and that's a feature that you can set up under settings. So I'm just going to quickly go over to settings here. So first things first, you see the same stuff that we filled out at the top when we first created it. You can change that here. So if I want this to be a capital P, instead I can change that. I can change the class code to something different if I want. I can disable it so I can't, that doesn't allow anybody to add after, like if I want to close it as soon as the period's over so that, they're not inviting their friends to join the class, they can do that there. Here's where that stream is found, so students can post and comment. Students can only comment, only teachers can post or comment. So I would always start with that, and then I can change that where, once I've had that conversation with students, I can change it where they can start commenting themselves. Classwork on the stream, you can have it where it will show the attachments and the details when they immediately go to the stream. It'll only show just, hey, you have a new assignment, and it just goes in a line. Or you can hide all notifications from the stream. It's entirely up to you. If you delete something, it will not show up. But if you click on that, then students can all see that. Here is what I was gonna be talking about with the parents. If you have access to student emails, you can turn on Guardian summaries. The Guardians will decide on what they want. And in the emails, it will look something like this. So they'll say weekly summary for the student, here's the date, and then the student work. And so it'll tell them that here's the missing work that they didn't get from last week. So from US history, right here, from English and American literature, right here. And then also gives them a list of what will be due for next week. So it's just a way to sort of keep them up to date and aware of what's going on. And if you have multiple class periods that are all using Google Classroom and they're all using this feature, it will show up for everything. And so here's what they have for class activities from last week, so then the parents know exactly what they've been doing that week in each one of their subjects. So here's all the stuff. And parents can unsubscribe at any time for that. They can limit if they started off with every day and they're like, oh, that's too many emails, they can change it to every week instead. So just a really good way to get our students, get our parents involved, and then keep making sure that they're aware of what what their students are doing in that class. So if you have those emails on Skyward, and I think that's something that we're gradually trying to do, is we're trying to get every parent's emails on there, or when we come back, that might be something that you want to ask them for. So let's see. Do you have any questions about that? I don't know if it will be in Spanish or not. That is a very good question. Let me do some research on that. I know Gmail will translate emails back and forth from Spanish or from English over to Spanish, and so I'd imagine that might be something that will, we might have to do to show them how to do it, and then we can they can just do that. But that is a very good question. I will see if that is a feature that we can add to that or not. And then the final thing that you can change on here is the grading. So if you are doing categories, you can add your grade categories like tests, quizzes, participation, and that kind of stuff. And then you can do weighted by categories, total points, grades, and that kind of stuff. And you can also allow students to see their grades, their full grade on Google Classroom or not. That's entirely up to you. So those are just some features that you can do for setting up and saving on Google Classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. All right, and we're back here. So you can see that I've added those assignments to my stream. So you can see it says quiz over reading assignment. That's the only thing that's been posted officially so far. And you can see that it says due Friday. It's over there. So some fun features on here. I am going to open this up to close this. Come back here. Hello. All right. So does anyone have any questions? I know this was more of a basic rather than a really in-depth into Google Classroom. Does anyone have any specific questions for how to use Google Classroom during this time? Not right now for video chat. But if you use Flipgrid or you can attach a link to a Zoom to your Google Classroom, and then students can access that video chat there. But as of right now, there isn't any way to do a video chat directly through Google Classroom. Online debate. That is a good question. The only part I think would be right now would be using the discussion part, and then just giving them, those guidelines on what you can expect and not expect from them when it comes to their discussion, and then just allowing them to go through there. Or you can give them a link to a separate resource that you maybe already use in your classroom. If you want to have them go in and do a Zoom chat like this, and then put them into breakout rooms, and they can work with their teams to answer those questions, and then come back and have that debate from here. That might be something that you can do if you want to have discussion going on in class. Any other questions? All right. Last thing I wanted to show. Yeah. No, I wanted to ask, we had an admin this morning, and I was going to add that to sort of see, but I have not. But that might be a question for you guys here. Is anyone working from the slope or trying to video chat from the slope as of right now? Doesn't look like anyone in this one today. We're trying to figure out on the slope if anyone is having some difficulties in using some of the features. Yes, if you archive these, you can use the information from the class itself over into a new class. I don't think if you archive it, it will allow you to unarchive it. At least I haven't found a way to do that. Access can be from both iPads and Chromebooks. Google Classroom has been downloaded on all school devices for both of them. So if you're trying to do it through an iPad, they can do that. Or if it is an app, so they can just download it on their phone or a device at home and use it from there as well. That is in the works. Hopefully we'll find out soon on exactly how to do that. With the stay at home kind of mandate that we're under right now, that's also going to cause some problems at getting those devices out to students. So I think that's currently what we're trying to figure out is the best way to do that. So last thing I wanted to show you, the link at the very top of the chat is our e-learning page. From the home screen of that, maybe covering how to log in, how to create and set up a class, adding students, how to add teachers if you need that. Just some of the basics for this that I've seen. And then I also have the help desk from Google here. So you can go there and sort of see exactly, they have tons of videos and guides and all that kind of stuff on how to set up anything that you need to do under Google Classroom, is found here as well. So this is just a place to go when you're doing it yourself and you're like, oh my goodness, I completely forgot how to do this one tiny thing. These are just sort of snapshot videos. So you can go there, or if you have a more in-depth question, you can always email me and I can try to answer it too. It does work on cell phones. I have it downloaded on my phone at this time. And I know a lot of our students will try to access their information from their cell phone as well. Their feedback and their assignments. Let me take a look. Let me try to get into someone else's class and try to act like a student and see what's going on, and then I might be able to answer that question a little bit easier. They can turn on Google Translate. It should be an add-on on all of our devices, and so they can go in and they can translate their page and their information directly over into Spanish. It's not, as usual, the most accurate because it's a machine, but it usually will get them at least understanding a little bit about how to do this, so they can hopefully understand it or at least know the right questions that they need to ask for help. Any other questions? All right, well, we're a little bit early, but that's always a positive. If you have any questions as you're building these or you're looking to use it, go ahead and shoot me an email. I will hopefully get this recording out and posted. I will try to get it linked and ready to go on YouTube, and then post it on both the e-learning website and then sent out to everyone that signed up for this training. So, yes. I think it's not going to be directly in Google Classroom. It's going to be a little add-on at the top. So they'll click on it. I believe that we have it. Let me double check. But at the beginning of the school year, it was a little add-on at the very top of the Chrome browser. They click on that, and then it would give them the option to translate it from English to any language they wanted. The whole page, or just, yeah, it should be. We set it up at the beginning of the year, so I'll double check and make sure that it's still there when we get off this chat. So thank you guys so very much, and I will hopefully see you all at tomorrow's training. Bye.